So our next topic is of the opposite universe here. We're going to the DCU, and we got a rumor, not a report, that Jason Momoa will be or is being eyed to play Lobo in Supergirl. I think the official but I think the reason why this rumor came about is because I think the report was that they're looking for Jason Momoa in an unspecified role, and so that this unspecified role is most likely going to be Lobo since he's been so attached to that character.
It's coming from Daniel Reichman, who has been scooping news for a minute. Some of it's been correct, some of it's not been correct. But more often than not, it feels like a lot of things that we've talked about that he reports does tend to be true. And considering we had a video where he was meeting with members of people of Warner Brothers and was super pumped. This is before Aquaman 2 came out. He was so excited. I don't think that was, I'm so excited I get to stay as Aquaman. I think that was, he's
that was
excited.
Him fulfilling his lifelong dream of playing Lobo. He's loved that character since a kid,
He put that up as his Mastodon account picture when people were going on that app, on that social media. And it's, to be honest, I do believe that this is true. I think that if you put Lobo in the Supergirl movie, you have a really nice contrast between Millie Alcock's. She's supposed to be a lot more brutal or, darker than I think the traditional Supergirl is. And who else is Lobo needs to be up against somebody who's strong enough to take him, which to be fair is a lot of people, but
but hasn't he been most closely linked to being Superman's kind of foe,
right? And even Superman has a hard time fighting him. Nice. So I think the idea of having him in here would be a nice addition. Obviously Jason Momoa is great, but I think it makes sense. They're both from space. This is most likely going to take place in outer space for a somewhat significant amount of the movie, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And I also learned that originally the Woman of Tomorrow comic that this is drawing inspiration from was originally pitched as a Supergirl and Lobo, what would you call that?
Dual, a buddy cop,
sort of like True Grit,
Okay. So they would be
Lobo
allies that are not wanting to work together, or
I think Lobo would be the old the Ranger, and then Supergirl would be the girl he has to take somewhere.
Interesting.
But they changed that to not have Lobo in the comic at all.
Right. So that's funny because I had a theory about how he could fit in, because I thought he would be more of a antagonist than a protagonist. But
I still think he would be antagonist. I think in True Grit, he still is an antagonist to the girl that he's taking somewhere. He's doing a job.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So.
But yeah, no, I think if I was reading the beginning of what the comic Woman of Tomorrow would be, and so the main villain in that is Creme, and
Creme.
And so
Creme de la creme.
So how it starts is that this girl is she comes to her because Creme has killed her family or her mother, and she's can you please help me get vengeance for Creme killing my family? And she says no, but then while she's there talking to the girl, Creme comes down and destroys the this planet that she's on, and she gets pretty injured, and so she has to help save the kid. And I was okay, so what if instead of Creme like going and fighting her himself. Like, what if it's like he has hired Lobo as a bounty hunter and is like, hey, I want you to go get this girl, and so Supergirl instead like jumps in and saves the girl that Lobo's trying to kill or like grab. So I was like, that's a good way to tie it in. And he wouldn't like, because I know they're like, from what I've heard, they're casting for Krem still. Like, he's gonna be the main antagonist of this movie. And
they gotta change the name though. They gotta change the name. Krem.
It's Krem.
Krem.
It's Krem, dude.
It's cringe.
Is
That's
Lobo
what it is.
like that great of a name? I mean,
Lobo's better than Krem.
I'll give you it's a little better. Yeah. But no, I think it's a cool concept. I'm down to see Lobo in it if he's integrated in a cool way. But yeah, I don't know. What do you feeling about that?
I don't know. I just, what I think is that I believe this, and I'm 99.9% sure that this is like that meeting took place like a year and a half ago, maybe. And
yeah, probably.
And you would imagine that he would probably be having meetings about something that is somewhat soon coming up, you know, like, and considering the 4 movies that we are like slated to that are up next to get, like,
no, I mean, this one makes the most sense for sure.
Yeah, like, is he going to be in the Authority? He could, but it seems like
doesn't really feel like a good fit. Right?
This is the one that makes like feels the most natural to put in.
You can introduce him early on and then have him be a key player in this universe going forward. Right. So, yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you. I think this is for sure gonna happen, and I'm happy for him, and I'm happy to see this character and see an epic fight between Supergirl and Lobo. And
I mean, that's gotta happen. That's gotta happen.
It's gotta happen. Yeah. But that would be so cool too if this was like a mostly space movie. Like, I would love that for the second movie. And I love the fact that like the comic starts off as she's in space. Like, I don't know. That's just, I love that kind of stuff. So yeah.
I think that's what's gonna happen. I think it's mostly gonna be like a space movie. Yeah,
for sure.